Hey guys, welcome back. Now I know it's been a while since I've uploaded a new review and it might take some time due to the current situation, but we're back now and today I'm going to review the Sony SRS-XB32. So the Sony SRS-XB32, I'm just going to call it XB32 for now, is overall a pretty good Bluetooth speaker. But before we talk more about the performance, let's talk more about its features. Alright, so the one I have here right now is the one in blue. It comes in a few colors. I believe there's white, there's black, even red or something. So there's quite a few colors for you to choose from. Looking at the design, I would say it's pretty good. It's one of those Bluetooth speakers that when you hold it, it just gives you the confidence that, yeah, it's not going to break. And it is as well waterproof, it is dustproof and shockproof. Although having said shockproof, now if you look here, you've got your LED lights around, which is very nice and all. But it feels like a plastic material. I'm not so sure how durable this is. But anyway, yeah, I mean, I put it through its paces as well and it's come off unscathed. If you're wondering where the ports are, it's actually at the back. Alright, so here it is. Alright, over here. Now at the back you have three buttons here. You've got your battery button, WPC, and the add button. Alright, so the battery button actually does two things. So first, obviously, if I were to press the button, it would audibly tell you the percentage of a battery, like this.
Battery, about 50%.
There you go. Alright, if you press and hold it, it actually switches the LED lights off. Alright, and obviously press and hold, switch it back on again. Alright, the next button, which actually this one I think is really cool, is called the WPC button, alright, which stands for Wireless Party Chain. So what this does is it allows you to connect to up to 100 Sony models, and there are some specific models, so I'll put them here. There are about 10 of them, I believe, different other Bluetooth speakers that can connect to this automatically, and you all play the same song, which is pretty cool. And next to it, you've got the add button, which kind of does the same thing. However, the add button just adds one more Bluetooth speaker, whereas WPC just adds to whatever's around connected within the same area. So yeah, obviously you have this little flap here to allow it to remain water resistant. So if you were to use this in the beach or wherever, make sure you press this closely. Now, I had a few opportunities to use this speaker, but most notably, I actually used it at a barbecue. And before you guys say something, this barbecue was done quite some time back before, you know, the whole social distancing measures were put in place here in Singapore. But yeah, so I used this at a barbecue and I was really impressed with the sound. Now, when it comes to Bluetooth speakers, or at least this sort of portable Bluetooth speakers, you cannot fault it for having lower audio quality compared to headphones or even like those big giant speakers or whatever. Due to its form factor, due to the size, the kind of drivers that you can put in, it's only going to sound so good. All right. Now, having said that, this right now, and admittedly, I haven't exactly tested like hundreds of different speakers. I have tried and tested quite a few of these, and right now, I would say this is actually the best sounding speaker. And obviously, like one of the very first review I did in this channel, the Anker Soundcore, yes, definitely better than that one, although it is also quite a bit more expensive. We'll talk about the price later. And not just about the audio quality. Now with this sort of speakers, one thing that is just as important as the audio quality is the volume, or how loud it can get. And trust me, this can get really loud. There were about maybe 20-ish people at the barbecue, and I had this just in the center, and sometimes I place it at the side or whatever, and no matter where I stood within our area, I could hear it pretty clearly. In fact, to the point that we had to keep lowering the volume because people were saying it was too loud and all that. So in a situation where this is outdoors, at the beach or wherever, you don't have to worry. This is definitely going to be loud enough. Okay, now one feature about this XB32 that to my knowledge is not available anywhere else is something called Party Booster. Alright, so the Party Booster allows this to turn into sort of a percussion instrument. So I can do this. Honestly, I mean, I'm just gonna come out straight. This is one of the most gimmicky things I have ever seen on any speaker. Okay, fine. I will admit, it's kind of fun. Okay, now talking about the battery life of this, Sony claims about 24 hours battery, but of course there is a caveat. Now, as you can see with the LED lights on, this will affect battery life, and yes, it does. But not only that, this also has a feature called extra bass that sort of boosts the bass frequencies of this, and the extra bass is actually set to default. So that means when you turn it on for the first time, extra bass is already going to be on. So with the extra bass on and the LED lights on, we're looking more like 14 hours, which is a very, very big difference. So what I would say is, if you're going to use this outdoor and you don't have a place to charge it and you need it to last as long as possible, don't turn on extra bass and don't turn on the LED lights. But other than that, I would say it's definitely respectable battery life. I've tested it for a whole day with the LED lights and extra bass on. However, that was more like 12 hours, and yeah, it was still alive. It didn't die. Okay, now one thing I actually forgot to mention that's also in this area here. You have an audio in as well, so it doesn't need to be a Bluetooth speaker. If you have some other device, you can plug it in directly. And then you can play. I've tested out both, and honestly, audio-wise, there's hardly any bit of difference. So if you're thinking that you can plug this in and get better audio quality, not so much. Okay, you have a micro USB port here for charging the XB32. I wish they would use Type C, just so that I don't have to keep my micro USB cables around. If I had a Type C, I could just use it for everything. But yeah, it is what it is. And lastly, you've got a full-blown USB port here. Now, this is actually to charge other devices. So yes, it's got a pretty good battery, even though I checked the Sony website and I couldn't get a definite amount on how many milliamps battery it has inside. But you can actually charge a device. I've actually charged my phone as well. And yeah, it took up maybe 15-20% of the battery. So that's not a big deal. And yeah, it's quite cool that they gave this feature. Okay, so as always, we're going to talk about some of the things that I don't quite like. If you look here at the buttons, there is something called live here, and if you press it, it's supposed to give you sort of like a more 3D, or give you a wider stereo imaging of the song. Honestly, with it on or off, there's hardly any difference. And when I tried to record the difference, I think because I only have one mic, there was absolutely no difference. So I'm not going to bother trying to show you the difference here. But yeah, I don't know what that's for, and honestly, it doesn't make it better, but it doesn't make it worse. So audio quality wise, you're still going to get the same audio quality. Now the other thing, it's not so much about the speaker itself, but it's got actually more to do with the app or apps. Okay, so if you want to configure this, you have to download an app called the Sony Music Center. Okay, so you've got your settings, you can control all sorts of different things. You can configure this party booster thing, you know. But in terms of adjusting the LEDs, there's another app called Fiestable, where you can go, you can control the colors, you can set what type of pulse or whatever. My question is, why do you need another app? I don't think there's any reason why you can't put that in the Music Center. And another thing actually, now apart from this Bluetooth speaker, I'm also gonna review something called the Sony what was it, WF-1000 MX3 or something along that line. It's a wireless Bluetooth earphones, and I'm still testing that right now, but I'm gonna be uploading that as soon as I can. But for that, you need another app. All right, so I don't understand why everything can't just be combined into a single app. I mean, just to have this and the earphones, I need 3 different apps. I think it's a little unnecessary, and I wish Sony would put that into a single all-in-one app, which would probably make all our lives a lot easier. Okay, so talking about the price. I haven't seen this in a lot of places, to be honest. I've seen it online, of course, and on Lazada, it's generally around 229 Singapore dollars, which I think is actually quite fair if you think about the features that it has. Now, usually I've reviewed speakers that are like $50, $60, $70 and I really like them, and I still do. I think they're still really good value for money. So this one being almost 3 times the price, you may be wondering why I still think it's good value. Well, number one, like I said, it is still the best I've heard so far. And yeah, sometimes you do have to pay a bit more to get it to sound a bit better, that's for sure. Second thing is, okay, the lights, I'll leave it up to you whether you think it's worth it. I personally think it can be worth it in the right situation. If you're out with friends or you're at a party, which is kind of what this is for, yeah, it can liven up the party. But also the features that it has. Number one, audibly telling you the percentage of your battery, the wireless party chain, I think that's a fantastic feature. The add feature as well. I think it's a really good idea, and I applaud Sony for coming up with that, although I'm not sure if that's available in any other brand and I haven't seen it so far. But yeah, so good job to Sony on that. But yeah, overall, I think with the entire package, I do think it's actually good value. And if I were to give it a rating, I would probably give it a 4 out of 5 actually. To be honest, when I first got it, I wasn't hoping for much. I wasn't expecting much. But using it for the past few weeks, both in indoor and outdoor situations, I have actually been really impressed. And overall, yeah, I think it's really good. So if you're looking for a speaker to use outdoor, like you're camping on the beach with friends, a barbecue of course, it's a really great device to consider. But even in a home situation, you can just use it. Maybe you can switch off the LED lights, and it's got great quality for this kind of speaker. So overall, fantastic. All right, so that about wraps up the review of the SRS-XB32. Now, if you like this video, you know what to do, and I would love it if you would subscribe to our channel and hit the bell icon to receive notifications on our next video. I'm JP, and stay safe.